Also developing right now at noon, the search for a gunman is on after a young mother is killed and a child injured in a shooting.
It happened at an apartment complex in Miami-Dade's Naranja neighborhood. Local 10 News reporter Joseph Ojo is live at the scene with the latest on this investigation. Joseph.
Well, Janice, we are learning that 24-year-old woman was a TSA officer. She was killed right here behind me, gunned down. Her 3-year-old was also injured, but that 3-year-old is said to be in stable condition.
From this orange evidence marker to the stairs stained with dry blood, signs of the deadly shooting Monday. Sky 10 over the scene, showing the body of 24-year-old LaShonte Jones laying for hours at the foot of a staircase.
We're trying to figure out what was the motive here. We're trying to figure out what caused this type of senseless violence.
Jones was gunned down around 3:30 Monday afternoon at this apartment complex off of US 1 and Southwest 258th Street. Police say a dark gray 4-door Nissan drove up and someone inside opened fire. Jones was shot and killed, pronounced dead on the scene, and sources tell Local 10 her 3-year-old child was grazed by a bullet. The child taken to Nicholas Children's Hospital, where she is now recovering. Loved ones gathering at the scene, overcome with emotion.
This scene right here is this is every black people finding out somebody in their family been shot, running to the scene and crying. And this is really, really, really sad to just keep seeing this, man. I hope you guys know that, like, this stuff right here, when I see this stuff, because that's her dad with the baseball cap on. It just like, you know, you raise your daughter, she becomes a TSA agent. Nice job. She's out there working. She got a 3-year-old daughter. She comes home, gets out the car, walking to her home with a 3-year-old daughter. And some car pulls up and a guy jumps out and starts dumping at her. This stuff is just sad, man.
Loved ones gathering at the scene, overcome with emotion. Our cameras capturing this distraught woman escorted by police into their mobile command center.
It was heartbreaking to be able to stand with the father and just listen to the pain he was going through. And us as a community, we need to come together.
A spokesperson for TSA released a statement on Jones. Yesterday, we tragically lost one of our TSA officers who was killed as she returned home from the airport late in the afternoon. I am shocked and deeply saddened at the senseless act of violence that took a young, vibrant officer away from her family and away from us way too soon. Words just cannot properly convey the immense loss all of us are feeling at this moment.
Give us any type of description, doesn't matter how small it may be. Investigators can use every piece of information in order to hopefully come to a closure.
So no description on the shooter, but police described the vehicle that the shooter was in as a dark gray 4-door Nissan. If you have any information, you could receive a $5,000 reward if you come forward with any tip or information. That number, Miami-Dade Crime Stoppers number, 305-471-TIPS. We're live in Southwest Miami-Dade. I'm Joseph Ojo, Local 10 News.
A heartbroken family remembering a young mother gunned down in front of her own daughter.
And tonight, we're getting our first look at her suspected killer as he remains on the run. Local 10's Christian De La Rosa is live in Southwest Miami-Dade. Christian.
We've talked about how this was a hard-working mother, a TSA officer at MIA, and you tonight, you said it, a surveillance picture of the shooter. Keep in mind, this tragedy taking place just day before the Sunday holiday.
She was still in her work uniform. They took her from me.
A grieving mother, days before Mother's Day. LaShonte Jones was 24 years old. She had just got home from work when she was gunned down right next to her 3-year-old daughter.
I haven't even told her her mom is gone. Like, how can you explain that?
This stuff is sad, man. Like, I mean, like, literally, man, this stuff is just sad. And the fact how much it happens. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you take the $5 challenge via PayPal, Cash App, or the Super Chat. How much this happens. The fact that this is just one of the 17,985 police departments that police areas, jurisdictions, individual jurisdictions, and have black populations. So in each one of those departments, something like this is happening at least once a week. In many cities like Birmingham, St. Louis, Cleveland, this happens every day, but we'll just err on the side of, not being hyperbolic. It happens at least once a week in every police jurisdiction. This is Miami-Dade County Police. This is issue to find out who did this. This little girl doesn't even know her mom's dead. She doesn't know. She can't understand. Like, this little girl, whole world is her mother. And she hasn't seen her mother in a few days, and she's like, that's odd. But she doesn't know what death is, so she doesn't know that, mom's never, ever, ever coming back. But she does know that she saw a man hop out of a car and start and point a gun at her and start shooting her. And the man shot her too. And he shot mommy, but I ain't seen mommy since then. Let's see what this shooter look like, man. Let's see this white supremacist, this hooded Klansman.
I haven't even told her her mom is gone. Like, how can you explain that to a 3-year-old child? I'd never be able to kiss my baby. I'd never be able to hear my baby laugh, play with her nieces and nephews. That's taken, it's gone.
Jones was murdered Monday around 3 in the afternoon outside her home at the Coral Bay Cove Apartments on Southwest 258th Street and South Dixie Highway. Detectives releasing this surveillance picture of the killer pointing his weapon at his victim.
That doesn't look like a Capitol rioter. Proud Boys don't dress like that. That's definitely not a Nazi. Nah, not all right. The Oath Keepers, they wear camouflage and stuff like that. Looks like a man in his 20s, slim build, dark clothing, and white shoes. Right? Isn't that what the news is going to tell us? No, I can't think of any other way to describe him. Except that he looks like a slim build man, about 5'10", between 5'10" and 6 feet. Dark clothing, light colored shoes, with a mask on. Can't think of any other descriptors. Can you guys think of any other descriptors? Any other ways you can help identify this guy?
Detectives releasing this surveillance picture of the killer pointing his weapon at his victim, her little girl, luckily only grazed by a bullet.
But how can you do a 3-year-old child like that? He needs to turn himself in, or somebody need to say something. Somebody need to talk. My daughter didn't trouble nobody.
Any little bit of information can help detectives make an arrest in this case and get this family some justice. If you think you can help, call Crime Stoppers at 305-471-TIPS. And we're live in Southwest Miami-Dade tonight. I'm Christian De La Rosa, Local 10.
We are getting our first look at the suspect accused of stabbing two older Asian women who were simply waiting for the bus. KPIX5's Betty Yu has been digging into his background. And Betty, this was not the suspect's first run-in with the law, was it?
That's right, Ken. It was not. Patrick Thompson has a lengthy arrest record here in San Francisco, according to a law enforcement source, and many of his offenses over the last 2 decades are for violent crimes.
Who's shocked by that? Now, we know it was an Asian attack. You guys haven't seen the guy's face yet, but you know it was an Asian attack. And if you followed this channel, or just you've been following the situation on the ground, other than the situation in Georgia where the guy said he didn't kill those people because they were Asian, he killed them because he was a sex addict, and that brothel served as an impediment to his ability to get over his sex addiction, and he felt it was tempting him. So he went in there and killed them. He went around to several different brothels, massage brothels, and killed the women who worked there, who just happened to be Asian. And he also killed other people who just happened to be there that weren't Asian. But the mainstream media was adamant that that was a hate crime. Other than that, every other attack on Asians has been by one specific race. And you know that I don't consider these Asian attacks hate crimes. I just think these are people being attacked because everybody's getting attacked. Didn't you just see the sister we just did the story on? Didn't she get attacked? So yeah, these Asian people who are like other people being attacked. But without seeing the race or the picture of the guy, we already know the guy, what race he is. But who's surprised that he has a long history of violent crimes and he's on the street when we've been told that the criminal justice system disproportionately overcharges races and institutes systematically against black people? And every single time when they catch the guy who killed this sister in Miami, he's gonna have a long criminal record. He's going to have a rap sheet longer than a CVS receipt. And you can mark it.
A law enforcement source provided this surveillance image to KPIX5. It was circulated among officers to find the Market Street double stabbing suspect. Today, police identified the man as 54-year-old Patrick Thompson. A witness snapped this photo of the same person from the back, moments after the attack at the bus stop. His victims, 84-year-old Chui Fong Ing and a 63-year-old Asian woman.
All you see is just a big silverish part in his hand, and just kind of like brass knuckle style because it's over the knuckle.
I saw brass knuckles on the end of it. I couldn't tell you how long it was because a part of it was still in her.
According to a law enforcement source, Thompson has been arrested more than 24 times in the last 20 years. He was placed under a psychiatric hold at least once. In 2019, he was arrested for battery. And we've learned in 2017, he was arrested for stabbing a person at this homeless shelter on 5th Street with a pair of scissors. Police say it was another unprovoked attack. He was picked up by Tenderloin officers yesterday on Eddy Street near Larkin and booked on charges of attempted murder and elder abuse. Tonight, Ing is still recovering at the hospital after being stabbed in the arm and chest. Her grandson said she needed a breathing tube after the knife cut her lung and rib cage. Her GoFundMe page has raised more than $70,000 in less than 24 hours. Her family calling her the ultimate fighter. And tonight I reached out to the family of that second victim, the 63-year-old woman, and understandably they're asking for privacy during this difficult time. Ken?
Betty, you reporting live. Betty, thank you for that.
Police are looking for this man after he sent a couple to the hospital. The husband and wife say he was acting belligerent on a northbound 4 train at the Bowling Green station in Lower Manhattan.
The husband got into an argument with him, and they all got off at the East 170th Street and Jerome Avenue station in the Bronx. Police say the man followed the couple down the stairs, punched the husband in the back of the head, stabbed him in his arms and body, and pushed his wife down the stairs when she tried to stop him. If you recognize the man or have any information about the attack, call NYPD's crime.
As with the previous case, knives are dangerous weapons. Okay? That's why people, when they get mad at you, they poke you with it. Not because it's not dangerous, or not because it doesn't have the potential to kill you. They don't, like, it's a reason they say, hey, I'm mad at you. Let me get a knife and poke you with it. Just put one and one together. Because we've been told all last week that knife is just a knife fight. You think this is just a knife fight? This guy who had a knife? And this man and his wife who didn't have a knife? Or the Asian woman before us? The two Asian women, the 84-year-old and the 63-year-old Asian woman who didn't have a knife? Is that a knife fight? Because that's what liberals were saying all week. I mean, the last 2 weeks. It's just a knife fight. Doesn't warrant any police intervention. Do you think that these two people wish that there was a cop around? Do you think that the two Asian women who were sitting at the bus stop waiting for the bus wish that there was a cop around when that guy came by? Even though both these suspects only had knives. And what's wrong with the little knife fight?
On camera, the frightening moments when a man viciously began beating tourists who were simply walking down popular Collins Avenue. Now the man behind that surprise attack is behind bars. Local 10 News reporter Joseph Ojo is live on Miami Beach with the video. Joseph.
So imagine this, Nicole. You're walking along the sidewalk when a man randomly attacks you. Well, that was the reality for one couple, and the man who attacked them just walked away as if nothing ever even happened.
Isn't that always the case? Like, they just walk away. Like, you see them in the footage, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't even know, like, this guy just attacked somebody. That's one of the funny things I see about it. Whenever they catch these people in surveillance footage after the fact, they're just moseying down the street. And you already know who did this. Like, at this point now, do you see how, like, when liberals call people racist, and I'm not hunting, pecking for these stories, all these stories in the last few days. And I can't do all the ones I find and the ones y'all send me. All these are just in the last few days. And this is like a drop in the bucket. This is like 1/1000th of 1% of all the stuff that's happened in the last few days.
As if nothing ever even happened.
After days of searching for the man behind a random and unprovoked attack, Miami Beach police announcing they have their guy, Michael Albert. Albert is accused of beating up a couple, then casually walking away as if nothing happened.
It was very disturbing.
In this surveillance video from outside the Sherbrooke Hotel last Friday, you can see the couple walking along Collins Avenue when Albert gets up and randomly started to punch the man 10 times with his fist. As the man's companion tried to stop Albert from attacking, she was punched as well. Police say the male victim suffered multiple bruises and cuts to his face, while the woman had a swollen eye after being punched.
I feel especially bad for the visitors who are from the Northeast, and they've indicated that they'll never step foot on Miami Beach again.
Mitch Novick's cameras captured the whole ordeal. He says he's seen the suspect several times before last week's attack.
I really don't know much about the suspect, if whether he's homeless or not, or he obviously has mental problems.
City of Miami Beach has declared a state of emergency.
This isn't the first time the spotlight has focused on Miami Beach. In March and April, Miami Beach gaining national attention for lawlessness, such as spring breakers jumping on top of cars and even unruly tourists being tased by police, to two men allegedly drugging, raping, and robbing a woman who was found dead. It's these incidents that make some residents feel police need to limit and monitor the crowds coming onto the beach, and they feel that the entertainment district needs to go.
And we did reach out to the couple involved. They declined to comment. Albert is now facing battery charges. We're live on Miami Beach tonight. I'm Joseph Ojo, Local 10 News.
But first, breaking news right now when it comes to you and your guns.
Lawmakers in Austin tonight now bringing Texas one step closer in allowing you to carry a handgun without a license.
Our Roseanne Aragon is live in our newsroom tonight with new developments when it comes to constitutional carry. Roseanne?
That's a term that is going to sweep the nation over the next few years if this problem that a certain group of people are proliferating continues. Constitutional carry. Remember that as we go forward. Stay tuned, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. Take the $5 challenge, PayPal, Cash App, Super Chat. Support real news.
Tonight with new developments when it comes to constitutional carry. Roseanne?
Yes, the Texas Senate approved the bill in an 18-13 vote, clearing what was one of the bill's biggest remaining hurdles in the Capitol today. The Republican-led constitutional carry bill would nix the requirement for Texas residents to get a license to carry handguns as long as they're not prohibited by state or federal law from possessing a gun. Essentially, it would allow Texans to carry handguns without any kind of license. House Bill 1927 was already passed by the Texas House. Now the Senate's move got support from local leaders like Fort Bend County Precinct 3 Constable Chad Norvell, who says the law would allow the good guys to be armed.
I've openly, publicly supported constitutional carry since the discussion came about this year. I don't think it's a bad thing for Texans. Laws like that only affect law-abiding Texans, as criminals are going to carry guns if they want to anyway. The license to carry requirement was only something a law-abiding citizen would do.
I couldn't have said it any better than what he just said. And that's why democratically run cities have the type of crime they have. Because people know that the average citizen, the mark, the lame, the Vic, food, a plate as they call you. Oh, you didn't know they called you a plate of food? You didn't know that's what brothers on the street refer to you? You people walking around in these democratically run cities unarmed? You didn't know that's what they called you? Plate and a food and a Vic? Wow. You guys claim to know these Negroes so well out at your protest.
I've openly, publicly supported constitutional carry since the discussion came about this year. I don't think it's a bad thing for Texans. Laws like that only affect law-abiding Texans, as criminals are going to carry guns if they want to anyway. The license to carry requirement was only something a law-abiding citizen would do.
But not everyone agrees. District 6 Texas Senator Carol Alvarado says if passed, the law would make for more gun violence, tweeting, "Allowing lawless carry in Texas will endanger lives of domestic violence victims, place the burden of enforcement on small businesses as they recover from the pandemic, and undermine private property rights."
Well, State Senator Carol Alvarado is true. She's right. Which community would gun violence increase in if constitutional carry passed in a city or state near you? Because we've already seen so many places where there's towns where everybody got a gun. Everybody got a gun on their hip, a gun on their dashboard, and there's no murders. One, maybe a year, some guy kills his wife, or vice versa. And then you go to these democratically run cities where you got to move heaven and earth to get a concealed carry license, and it's 600, 700 murders a year. So we've already seen that, look, yes, this will increase homicides and shootings in black communities because black people live around these thugs. And if hardworking black citizens that would normally not carry because they're law-abiding citizens now carry, they're no longer going to be victims of the hoodlums and the gang members and the goonies that control their neighborhoods. So there's going to be more of your babies getting shot, more of your good boys getting shot, more of the teens that was turning their life around, more of men that were turning their life around getting shot. Yes, it's 1,000% correct. Even in those neighborhoods where white neighborhoods where black criminals go to, prey on people in these democratically run cities, when they go to those neighborhoods, these white people are going to be shooting them. And then we'll have marches and protests, and everybody's going to be talking about, well, he was leaving. You shot him in the back. He was leaving the house. He was leaving. He was running across the lawn. He had already left. You profiled him. And there's going to be a lot. White people going to get in trouble. This is going to cause a lot of hell racially. Because when a white person shoots a black person, no matter what that black person's doing, we know that. No matter what that black person is doing, it's going to be a problem. But at least that white person will be alive. I'm sure you'd rather have a problem than be, dead. So, but it's going to cause a lot of murder in the black community. It's going to cause a lot of racial division because these guys go burglarize these white homes. They're going to be in for a surprise.
Passed the bill, but with amendments, now the bill heads to a conference committee where the two chambers will hash out their differences. If they can come to an agreement on a final bill, it would be sent to Governor Greg Abbott's desk. He's already indicated he would sign it into law. Reporting live from the newsroom, Roseanne Aragon, KPRC.
Caught on camera, a new video tonight of a man as he breaks into someone's home in Escambia County, Florida. This was just minutes before a woman inside shot and killed him. Cody Long tells us why the woman who pulled the trigger is not being charged.
Now, as this brother's kicking his door down, who thinks that our little professor from the other day, that professor, she won't call the cops. She don't trust the cops. Who thinks that she would be calling the cops right now while this brother's kicking his door down? That's the same analogy I used in that video because it happens. This is real. This is how people make entry into your home. The movie where they pick the lock, where they get the little pin or the safety pin or the hair bow. I mean, the bobby pin, and that's the movies. This is how you get into a house. And it's terrifying if you're on the other end. And if there's a phone near you, you're going to use it to call the police. No matter how much crap you talk about the police. When your door's not being kicked in.
He breaks into someone's home in Escambia County, Florida. This was just minutes before a woman inside shot and killed him. Cody Long tells us why the woman who pulled the trigger is not being charged.
The Escambia County Sheriff's Office is investigating this as a stand your ground case. The sheriff says the woman was protecting herself and her family. Take a look at this video from the front porch. You can see the man kicking the front door on James Taylor Lane and screaming at those who are inside.
You want to play? Let's play.
Then the 54-year-old man goes back to kicking in the door. After a few tries, he gets in. The sheriff said once inside, he armed himself with a knife and threatened to harm his children's mother.
Wait, all he did was have a knife and threaten his children's mother? What the other woman get in it for? Because he was shot by the other woman. Why'd she get into this? It was just a knife fight. I'm confused. This brother should be alive. We need to protest, man. This brother should still be here with us. Anybody out there was talking about, he should still be here with us. As if they knew this moment. But I don't understand why the other woman intervened, man. All he had was a knife.
Door. After a few tries, he gets in. The sheriff said once inside, he armed himself with a knife and threatened to harm his children's mother. A woman in a bedroom said she was in fear for her life and shot the man in the head. He died on scene. The man had an active domestic violence injunction filed on him, and the sheriff says when this all happened, the man was on his way to an anger management class. Reporting in...
They always about to go to college. They always turning their life around. On this case, he was on his way to an anger management class. Now we got to hear about how because black communities are less likely to have internet access, it's somehow the society's fault, because if he had internet access, he could have done his anger management class online through a Zoom, and he would have never had to leave the house, and he would have never been provoked to go kick down this woman's door and then grab a knife out of their kitchen and try to stab his baby's mother. So it's really all of our fault. It's society, us who uphold this wicked, evil society. Now, give me a race on the baby mother. I personally think the baby mother's white. Personally, I think the baby mother's white. I'm going to tell you why. A few reasons why. Hold on. I'm going to give you a few reasons why. That yard right there, that yard clean as a mug, man. Ain't no trash, ain't nothing right there. You can call me a racist if you want. You can say I hate myself. We know that. I hate myself. So don't even say it. Don't even waste your time saying it. I hate myself. That's a well-kept front. I mean, it's not the greatest, but even the stone, the pebbles are all where they need to be. The grass is not it's not the greatest front yard, but, whatever. Kids' toys are in order. There's nobody hanging on the porch. I think this dude baby mother was white, man. Plus, somebody in the house had a gun. A woman had a gun, and a woman knew how to shoot, where she could bust this dude's melon. She shot him in the head. I don't know. Maybe I'd like to know what you guys think. I'd love to find out if you do know the race on the baby mother. But if it is a sister, fine. sisters need to start carrying. Everybody need to start carrying. Because if this crime wave that's come across the United States, and it's the usual suspects. But now one thing does make me think that it might not have been a white woman. This isn't receiving like national coverage. There's nobody saying, well, when he came in, he didn't grab a knife. He just wanted to talk. So, I mean, but this video is too damning. So I don't think any civil rights activists want to touch this. So I think she could still be white. So get in the comment section, man. Hit the like button, subscribe. Peace. I'm out.